So let's get into it. The Niger Delta, a region absolutely overflowing with oil, right? But the people there, they're trapped in a cycle of poverty and pollution. Today, we're diving deep into the unbelievably dangerous world of illegal oil refineries and the lives of those caught in the crossfire, the people some have called the slaves of the black gold. All right, let's jump right in. Picture this. You're on the streets of Cotonou in Benin, which is right next door to Nigeria. The air is just buzzing with motorbikes. But these aren't your average commuters. No, these bikes are basically moving fuel tankers. And this quote, it's from a guy named Antoine, one of the countless drivers who literally risk their lives every single day. They actually call them human bombs. And when you hear what he says, you start to understand the terrifying reality of that nickname.
Yep, you heard that right. 700 liters. That is an insane amount of black market petrol balanced on a single motorbike. I mean, think about it. It's this incredible death-defying balancing act where just one little wobble, one tiny mistake could mean a massive fireball. The risk is just off the charts. But as you'll see, so is the demand.
So why would anyone do this? Well, it all comes down to simple math. The black market stuff is half the price of what you'd pay at a legit gas station. Now, this whole operation obviously hits the big oil companies, but here's the kicker. It's how a quarter of the entire population of Benin makes a living. It's a system that's been built really out of pure necessity.
Okay, so where is all this illegal fuel actually coming from? Well, to figure that out, we've got to go right to the source. And that means heading deep into the mangrove swamps of Nigeria, to a place that's pretty much hidden from the rest of the world.
Now, when you picture a refinery, you're probably thinking of some big industrial factory, right? Well, forget that. These are secret camps, deep in the jungle, and the only thing that gives them away are these huge plumes of black smoke. Getting in is almost impossible. It's fiercely protected. You have to understand, these guys are guarding the core of a multi-million-dollar operation. Outsiders are definitely not welcome. It's kind of like Africa's own Wild West, and it's all built on stolen oil.
And the way they actually refine this stuff, it's shockingly basic. I mean, don't even think about modern tech. It's really more like an old-school moonshiner setup. They literally tap into the major oil pipelines, steal the crude oil, and then cook it in these massive pots. The whole scene is just surreal, and you can imagine the smell. That thick, overwhelming stench of burning petrol just hangs in the air.
And the danger? You just can't overstate it. We heard from a guy named Amaya. Believe it or not, he's a geology graduate who couldn't find any other work. He knows just how deadly it is. A single spark, and the whole place goes up in a massive explosion. The risk is so insane that a lot of the workers, they work completely naked. Why? Because if the petrol fumes soak into your clothes, you could instantly become a human torch.
So again, why on earth would you take that risk? It's the money. The pay is 3 times the average wage in Nigeria. And in a place with almost no other jobs, that's a huge deal. And it's not just who you might expect. You have university grads like Amaya out there, just trying to survive. The whole thing, of course, runs on stolen oil, and it only works because of corruption. The smugglers just pay off the military patrols to look the other way.
Okay, so that's the micro view. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Because this whole black market boom has had an absolutely devastating effect on the environment and on the people who actually live in the Niger Delta.
200,000 tons. Let that sink in. That's how much crude oil has been dumped into the Niger Delta's ecosystem every single year for the last 50 years. Think about that. It's like having a massive oil spill happen over and over again, every year for half a century. The scale of it is just, it's almost impossible to wrap your head around. The entire ecosystem is literally choking to death. The water isn't even water anymore. It's this thick, sticky, toxic goo. And as you can imagine, this has just wiped out the traditional ways of life, like fishing. The fish are gone. And when the fish go, so does a way of life that supported these communities for centuries. The pollution gets so bad, it actually creates what people call ghost villages. We learned about one village headman, a man named Mr. Doe. He had to make the impossible decision to order all 400 people in his community to just leave. Their ancestral land, the homes they grew up in, their only source of water, everything was poisoned, completely unusable. They had no other choice. They just had to abandon everything.
So you have this environmental catastrophe, right? But running right alongside it is a human disaster. It's really a story of profound injustice. How can a place with so much wealth underneath the ground become such a curse for the people living on top of it?
And you can see the human cost in the numbers. They're just staggering. According to the authorities there, the average life expectancy in the Niger Delta is only 40 years old. 40! Now compare that to the rest of Nigeria, where it's 60. That's a 20-year difference. People are literally dying 2 decades earlier because of this pollution.
This next quote from the mayor of a village called Bodo just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly sums up this tragic paradox. Here you have a land with unbelievable natural wealth. It's one of the biggest oil producers in the world. And yet, the people who live there are stuck in extreme poverty. Their health is ruined, their homes are destroyed, all by the very thing that's supposed to be making the country rich.
And it's so important to get this next point. This illegal trade didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It's a direct result of decades of what people see as corruption and total mismanagement of all that oil money. When you feel like you have absolutely no legal way to benefit from the wealth that's literally under your feet, well, you're going to find another way, right? By hook or by crook.
And all of this leads to some incredibly tough choices that people have to make every single day just to get by in this wasteland.
But not everyone goes down that road. We met a 52-year-old man named Daniel. He's found another way to survive. He actually fishes for sand from the river bottom and sells it to cement factories. But look at the choice he's facing. It's absolutely brutal. You can earn a ton of money in the dangerous, destructive, illegal oil business, or you can earn next to nothing doing honest, backbreaking labor.
For Daniel, though, the choice is crystal clear. He puts himself through that grueling work for maybe 150 euros a month, all because he will not be a part of the illegal trade. And what drives him? His kids. He just wants to earn his money honestly, to be a good example, and to get his son through school. He's just praying that his son can have a better life than he did.
So that's where things stand. And what's really sobering is that experts think there's enough oil left in the Niger Delta to keep this whole mess going for another 50 years. That cycle of pollution, poverty, and corruption, it just seems completely unbreakable. Which leaves us with this one final question to think about. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.